Hey everyone, once again we're back with the WoW Collector. This time we're in the Throne of Thunder in Mist of Pandaria. Just a really fun raid. Lots of loot from this place as well. Lots of the trash packs do drop either greens or grays we can vendor. So a good amount of gold. I did come here with a guild member of mine, Rom. Great guy, has a great transmog and needed one piece from this raid and we were able to get that. You can see his transmog at the end. First boss we're at already is Jin'rokh, the Breaker. Kind of cool little part there. Guy goes flying through the doorway. If you also notice, he is where I filmed the intro section of the video. We'll be mixing it up in a little bit here, but just kind of like the vibe of this place. We got a lot of drops. 6 drops at least per boss. Rom did trade me most of what fell because he already had it. So for cloth wearers, Alset's Tormented Leggings, Robes of Static Bursts, Jin'rokh's Dream Shard is a trinket, and then we got 2 drops for hunters. We got the Ghostbinder Greatboots and Spearman's Jingling Leggings. Got 2 of those, and Rom traded me those as well. So the way it works is six things drop, and then it just splits them up evenly, 3 and 3. This part right here can get a little difficult if you haven't been here before. Uh, the wind will push you off, as you can see by the I guess the clouds there show you which way directionally the wind's blowing. So you have to avoid that as well as avoiding these blue spheres that are containing these floating enemies. If they get a hold of you, they knock you off. So just meander through it. It's not too difficult. Um, I think when we were in this live, I think we had to taunt those guys because we were going to pull them in those blue. I don't know what you call those. Um, if you fall off here, you do have to start from the beginning of the raid. It is quite a hike, so just bear in mind that. Um, if you have any type of speed boost, obviously it helps, but really just you can walk through this part. Not too bad. Rom fell off, so I did skip forward the video quite a bit. Here was about a 4-minute wait, just just relatively speaking, if you're trying to keep track of time and whatnot. Second boss coming up in a little bit here, Horridon. It's a huge dinosaur with um, a lot of Zoldalar saddles and type of things. It's pretty cool. He does drop a mount. I had it on my old account, hoping I can get it again here. I like how that snake died, just paused in midair. It's pretty neat. So Rom finally makes it back, and we kill this almost like a lesser boss in a sense. He does guard the doorway. It's a pretty easy fight. But this raid was set up. There's just so many facets of this raid. It's a very long raid as well, so make sure you're not trying to bust this out in 5 minutes. It will not work. Um, Second boss, here we go. It's very similar to the Siege of Orgrimmar fight with Thok, the lightning T-Rex. Don't know if you can. I wonder if you can tame this guy as a hunter. We'll have to find out. Although I will keep killing him until I get the mount. So let's talk through what drops here. We get the horn-rimmed Doomcloak. We get Vaccinator's arm wraps, which are cloth bracers. We got 2 Wastewalker Sandblasted Drape, which dropped from a lot of bosses in here. Um, See the battering rams on the side of them. It's pretty sweet. Miracoran's the Vehement Cord, which is a bow for hunters. Jalak's Maelstrom Staff drops. And then, what do you know? If you look at the loot table there, Spawn of Horridon dropped to Rom. He already had it, so I was able to get the mount. Very, very, very excited. Unfortunately, it's not that big. That would be really awesome if it was, I think. Even if it couldn't fit in corridors and the like. I just think if the mounts were bigger, I'd appreciate that more. But, scale-wise and people sitting on top of the flight paths. But I got the mount. My first mount collected from a raid or dungeon. Really excited. Rom is not a fan of the mount, but hey, it's one more mount that's I don't have to sit and farm for hours on end. But I can work on getting the mogs at least. So, if you want to keep track of what's been dropped so far, we have two two pieces for the hunter. Then I have two back pieces, a mount, and a bow and a staff. So that's a pretty solid run so far. Two bosses in. I need to come back to this place more. So we're making our way through this corridor, and Ram has already started killing. What happens in this area is a little weird. Is after you kill the trash packs, these spirits summon exactly the same spot, and I can't remember if you can loot them or not. Um, we just kind of ran past them because they didn't keep following us. But a lot drops from these guys. The loot table is really substantial. So obviously, I guess the spirits don't drop anything, but I would kill everything in here because there's so much that drops. And we work our way towards the Council of Elders. It's a 4-boss fight. One of them used to stun. They still do, but you can kill them fast enough where it's not really a problem. But so much loot. And the greens from Panda sell pretty decently. Let's see how long he keeps attacking me for back there. So what? Right now we're in the outer corridor of the Throne of Thunder. So basically we're trying to make our way inside, and the trash is still shooting me from behind. So I guess it's probably a better way to do it is just keep running and let them all group up and then shoot them. That might be the most efficient way to do that. I just think that made more sense. But lots of motes of harmony. There were quite a few mounts that can be made from professions in Pandaria. The Panthers were jewel crafting. The Sky Golem was a engineering mount, and I want to say there's something else as well. But Rom runs this place weekly, although I think because he has these last drops on his paladin, he doesn't anymore. There are two ways you can travel from this point. You can traverse left or right, and there are a few trash groups as well. The one thing I do miss, I stopped using LUI as my interface. I liked how it kept track of how much gold I was earning, but I feel like Azerite UI is a lot cleaner. And I hate LUI's use of raids or groups just in general. It's pretty annoying. So the princess is the one I'm attacking now that was third from the right, and the guy on the far left is the sand guy. I think he's the one who can stun you. Well, we killed him pretty quickly, so it really didn't matter. Gauntlets of the Crackling Conqueror. Conqueror is not the set for the hunters. Let me find out which one is. Sorry, there's tons of bosses in here. Let me find out. Protector is the hunter set. Conqueror is the paladin and whatnot. We got Bo-Ris, Horror of the Night. It's a polearm. Abandoned Spaulders of Renewal for hunters. Gaze of Gara'jal for hunters. Loa-Ridden Bracers for hunters. And the Hydra-Scale Bloodcloak. So, we got 5 drops off that boss alone. A couple of the weapons as well have a 0.1% drop chance. Or 1% drop chance, excuse me. Bo-Ris was one of those. So a lot of the weapons in here are really hard to farm. I mean, I got crazy lucky, I feel. Let me count this up. 2, 4. Right now, we're at 13 drops so far. That's crazy. Also, I wanted to show this part just for everyone else to see is that it is also bugged. I don't know if it's an add-on that's blocking it, but you literally can't skip the scene like you can every other raid boss cinematic. What's really neat though is if you just think about this scene, you're coming up on Lei Shen, you're finally at the door of his palace, you're ready to fight him, or you're ready at least to enter the palace, and he makes you go a different route. So we've already fought 3 bosses, and we're not even actually in the raid yet. I thought this was just a really neat way to do this. I mean, obviously it's more boss fights, but it's just a really cool way to do it. I appreciated the attention to detail. And I really enjoyed when I read through the synopsis of each boss. And if you hit Shift J, it brings up the raid finder. It's pretty neat. More trash. We're at Tortos, the big turtle. You can kick shells back at him, just kill him. He dropped a few things as well, and this is something else that came up in a bunch of other fights, was the Beakbreaker Greatcloak. So it seems a lot of the raid bosses do share loot tables, which might make getting things easier and harder. But what I mean by that is if you're just farming one boss for certain drops, there's 15 things that can drop it, you have a better chance of getting stuff. But if the loot tables are spread out between all the bosses, it's really, you're just kind of at the fate of the RNG gods. We got the Beakbreaker Greatcloak, and then we got three paladin drops: the shell-coated wrist plates for plate wearers, shoulder guards of centripetal destruction, Tortos' shell Caesars, and then we got the crystal claw gloves for cloth wearers. So we did get one more item, brought us to 14. But in four bosses, that's really, really, really good. Sitting at 12.27%. Obviously, there's a lot that drops in here. So this part right here, you mount up. There are 3 bells you have to ring. I forgot the location, so I jumped down to the boss. So Rom actually had to go. He was already back there, so he found the third one. Make sure you don't miss them. I couldn't find a way back up. Maybe I just didn't look hard enough, but there is one to the left right here. And then you're supposed to go back to the right, and I just kept going down. So Rom had to take care of him. But just to the left, you'll see him right here. He's a Eternal Guardian. You have to kill him, and then you click the bell. There's 3 bells. That's what summons the boss. Megaera. Sounds a lot like Meg from Hercules when looking at that name. Didn't drop much. Some of the fights, Rom kept the loot, which totally was fine. He helped me a lot in this raid, so I didn't mind. But on some of them, if I wasn't clicking the loot when he did, see, I should have went right there instead of dropping down. If I didn't click the loot when he did, I didn't get to see what dropped. So I wasn't able to write down those things. Um, so what I was able to see was the Poison Blood Blade Shoulders for leather wearers, the Quadra Head Brooch, which was a trinket, links of Bifurcated Tongue, which is a mail belt, and Megaera's Poison Fang, which was a dagger. So 2 more drops brought us to 16 total for this raid in just one run. That's quite a lot of transmogs. Thankfully, Ron was still up there. And he was running around getting the bells for us. This is an annoying fight, not because of difficulty, just because of waiting. You have to kill both heads. Basically, it's a Hydra, and every time 2 heads come up, you must kill both of them. However, once you get their health to 0, they still kind of linger for a while. Then they fall off, and 2 more come up, and it's this repetitive cycle until it's done. I mean, there wasn't really any rhyme or reason to how many we had to kill. I remember in LFR's fight was just as long as well. It wasn't just a tank and smeg. It felt like it was more difficult than it had to be. But nevertheless, also a few things too. Uh, there's zone drops and then Titan Forge drops in all the things, and I want to get some clarification from all the things Discord, just because I think that they should operate the same. But under zone drops, I have one of the greens, but if I get one of the purples, I'll be able to tell better. I'm hoping it qualifies for both, in all honesty. So right now we're just fighting all the bosses, and there is no real better way to do this. It's just when the 2 come up, kill them. So Rom was just linking here some of the weapons that drop that are really hard to find, and it seemed like this is a very lucky run for us. We got a mount drop and a bunch of weapons that don't normally drop. It is kind of cool how they slither away. So what he's saying there is a lot of the weapons have a 1 to 2% drop rate per boss, and it's spread out over all the bosses. So that's what I think makes it more difficult, and that's why the percentages are lower, because the way percentages work are, if it's 1/5 chance from one boss and a 1/5 chance from another boss, you multiply those fractions. 1/5 times 1/5 is 1/10. So instead of having a 20% chance per boss to drop, it's really a 10% chance to drop over 2 bosses. So by spreading out the weapons over all the bosses, it makes it more difficult because the loot table is so wide. If you go on Wowhead, a lot of these bosses had between 60 and 80 items that could drop per boss, which made this place a lot harder to farm than I think than it should be. But I mean, we've gotten pretty lucky so far, so I mean, who knows? I think warriors are great for picking up transmogs. I am going to love my warrior pretty soon here. I'm trying to unlock dark iron dwarves on this new account. But hunters are amazing for transmogs. Um, they do, unfortunately, they only share mail with another class, which that kind of limits it. But having survival, you can almost unlock every weapon but maces and shields. Forgetting one other, I think. I think it's just maces and shields in all honesty, which helps a lot, a lot. I'm trying to think because for leather you have monk, you have rogues, druids, and then DKs. Obviously, there's lots of plate wearers, obviously. But unfortunately, that's the one part where hunters aren't as good because we only have a shaman that we share mail with. And when demon hunters came out, they were leather as well. So I'm hoping the next class, whenever they do get to that, is a male class. That way we can have more chances to loot stuff. Do have to get a bunch of my other classes in here as well. Um, DKs, monks. So a lot to do, but I mean we'll get there. It's gonna be a process in all honesty. But very excited. So as you can tell, we're still killing hydras here, waiting. It's a long boss fight. So right now they're both dead, yet they still linger for a while, and I think it's because their debuffs have to run out. That might be why. I wish the chests also had more interactivity in terms of not just appearing random, like if they fell from something or it's okay though. So next up is Jakun. This is the flying bird. Sometimes this fight bugs out at the end when you have to grab the feather and fly off. Just kind of keep that in mind. And next up we'll be at Dormammu, which I keep wanting to say Dormammu. The dagger I just got, uh, Ram was pretty happy about. So he's been running a lot of stuff with another guildmate of ours on her druid, and he's been noticing a lot of stuff isn't dropping. And when I came in here, I don't know if it's just because the class composition or if it's just RNG, but it seems a lot of stuff they were hunting for tends to drop. And I wish they'd change this. I wish in old raids, the ones you can mount in, wish you could loot off your mount. I think that would be such a great change. In legacy raids only. Don't make it in live raids. I mean that's. But I think in legacy raids, especially if you're allowing them to mount up in random places and then not in this pipe, which is weird. We're in an underground cave and we're able to mount up, but we can't mount up in this curving cacophony of pipes. Spiders here, just kill them. Um, the snails here will still one-shot you, according to Ram. I thought that was a little odd, but hey, you know. So being a ranged class helps. If you're not a ranged class, I would stay away. They don't kill your pet though, which is nice. Although pets can't taunt, so it doesn't really matter anyways. I remember though so many people in LFR just dying there, and people having fun with that. Saying that, I remember one of the things was ranged had to tank these, so a lot of ranged classes would run in and just die. No one would res them. It's pretty mean, but I mean once you see it the first time, you should know better. So we're making our way through the bowels of Lei Shan's Throne of Thunder, or his Thunder Palace, his Palace of Thunder, what have you. It is really hard for me, especially running all these legacy raids, to pass up loot. And these guys are really reminiscent of Ahn'Qiraj Ruins. I was hoping they were loot pinatas as well, but not really. They're not, unfortunately. Got a green there, and I do think since Rom ran ahead, I missed that last loot. He drops a pet, so you just jump down. Now there are a couple achievements here. I think one is if you I gotta check it, but there is one achievement here we didn't get. My achievement tracker has been bugging out. It's been causing a lot of conflicts with other add-ons, so I disabled it. But I got 3 drops. Two were plate shoulders. They were the reconstructed Furious shoulder plates and the reconstructed Holy shoulder plates. And the Feather Flight belt, which is for leather wearers. So I didn't get really anything here. So I think it was the first boss fight I actually didn't get any drops, which, hey, I mean, I'm not complaining at all. That's amazing. And it is random. With a lot of these, yeah, he needed the shoulder plates. I think that's what he needed for his set. What is random is in a lot of these older raids, I feel like it's easier to keep track of what I've gotten. In this raid, there was so much that dropped, it felt like I couldn't find it. So I jumped off, and of course it brings you back up, and I forgot to click the feather. So that's something else to keep in mind. Clicky, the feather, just makes life easier, because you don't have to wait for this animation. Just the settings of the way they designed these boss fights, and just the overall appeal was, I really liked the visual aesthetic in this raid. Once you jump off, the wings show up, and you have to fly right up here. If you get lost, check the map. It will show you. If you look, as you come in, it's to the left of the boss. You'll see where you have to go. Next up is Darumu the Forgotten. If you play any Dungeons and Dragons, it's an Eye of the Beholder. I got Fen's Flickering Dagger from here. Also leg plates of the Dark Parasite for plate wearers, and leggings of Pulsing Blood for cloth wearers. I do have my spreadsheets if anyone ever is curious or wants to see what has dropped. I do keep copious records of everything that drops, just because I want to know what trends have been happening when I run these raids. We're kind of at the, let me see how many bosses we've had so far. We've down to 6 bosses. We have 7 left, so it's almost the halfway point. So a quest popped up here, and it was just to kill these eyes. And you get this bag called Spoils of the Thunder King. It's supposed to contain transmogs as well, but I just got gold. I was a little disappointed, but I don't know if it comes every time you're in here or if it's a one-time thing. I don't know how it works. I'm going to come back and retest it. Pretty excited about that, but alas, got nothing. I did get the dagger though. I was pretty happy about that. I got a lot of weapons in here. Really helped the transmog percentage. So right now we're at 15.45%. So think about that. We're 7 bosses in, 17 items, and we're only at 15%. Now I wonder though if the zone drops that Titan Forge, if they'll double count. If those do, that will help a lot more as well. And there are a lot of greens that drop from here too. So I probably could go to the auction house and buy a lot of these things. But I'm going to spend a ton on pets to celebrate 100 subscribers. So with the 100 subscribers, I'm kind of low in gold. So it's okay, but And I do have 2 boosts to use. I'm really debating what I want to use. I'm probably going to use an older. Probably going to use the Warlock. And probably the Druid, but we'll see. I want my Death Knight 120 as well. So I really got to start farming. I got to start leveling stuff. These slime guys you can definitely skip. I don't even think they drop loot, to be honest. Not even the big ones. So up here, if you watch his dialogue, it's pretty neat. There's some parts where he talks about Precious, so it's a lot like Smeagol. He dropped Bracers of Mutagenic Fervor, which was for a hunter, Band of the Scaled Tyrant, which is a ring, Robes of Mutagenic Blood, for cloth wearers, Synapstring Handguards for male, and Beakbreaker Greatcloak. We already had the cloaks, so that's 2 more drops for hunters, bringing us to 19 drops in one raid, in one run. It's great for the Transmog collection. So we're moving ahead here. We're going to run up to Dark Animus. And last expansion, I want to say, there was a one-shot mechanic. It'll put the eyes on screen that it's following you. And if you get touched by one of them before, you would die, but I think based on how much health we have, it doesn't really kill us anymore. Rom traded me a couple things there. I already had the Beakbreaker Greatcloak, but by this point it was kind of hard to keep track of what I had, so I just said, yeah. And Rom's a great guy. So moving ahead. And he got quite a few things as well, from the last two bosses as well. And we'll show off his Transmog at the end here. It's a pretty nice Transmog, I gotta admit. Just a cool fight. So they're keeping this concoction at bay, which powers all the animatronics in the room, which causes them to chase you. Don't understand how this fits into the lore of the raid, but hey, you know. So kill everything. Everything can almost be one shot in a sense, but the big guys I tried to avoid, I just kept backpedaling. Typical hunter behavior, especially in dungeons. Just backpedal. That solves everything. But Rom didn't take any damage really, so I don't feel like we have to worry about it anymore. And just kill them all, kill them all, kill them all. So, Anima ringed fingers were leather gloves, matter swapped leg plates for plate wearers, and the delicate vial of the sanguinaire, which is a trinket. So it means we didn't get any drops there, but I mean I think only two bosses the entire raid did I not get a drop, so I mean that's amazing. Moving ahead here, we have one more boss fight, and then we're at Lei Shen, who is the last raid boss on normal difficulty. On heroic, however, there's one more raid boss. So the twin consorts. To me, this is a weird fight. I know Blizzard likes to do this where there's two enemies to fight, and you know they bicker back and forth. You know, yin and yang, they're opposites. You know, I think in here one's light, one's dark, but it really just doesn't fit much with the aesthetic. We're still making our way through sewers, up through the bowels of the Throne of Thunder. And I skipped a lot of this trash because I don't remember it being able to loot it. The spiders though, next time when I come through here, I'll really take my time and kill everything. Rom was nice enough to run me through, so I didn't want to waste his time just meandering off all these little side paths and whatnot. So, and Rom got sidetracked for a reason. I'm not sure where he went, in all honesty, but it's okay. I got a mount. I'm excited about that. I will start doing some mount farming videos as well when I have more classes and start bringing them in and making multiple attempts at runs. So right now, I did kind of get ahead of myself. We're at the Iron Kion. He's a great warrior at who commands a Quillin, I think is what they're called, the stone doggies. Lots of loot here as well. It's mainly just those fangs, but it's okay. They vendor for a pretty good amount. I got the voice of the Quillin, which is a gun. Shoulders of the Crackling Conqueror, which are for paladins and warriors, I think. Quetzal's Crackling Cord. Say that 10 times fast. Cloth belt. Shoulders of the Crackling Protector. Got two of those for hunters. And Roshak's Molten Chain for hunters as well. So I got three more drops here. Brings us to 22. So the way the tokens work in Mist of Pandaria is it's amazing. You just right click and it creates the item. If you don't, if it's not for your class, you vendor them for 50 gold. It's great. It's a great, great, great way to make gold, especially running this on heroic by yourself. You know, you get a couple of those. It's an easy 100 gold at least. I have noticed that I have to check because I don't know if the items vendor for that much as well. Lots of lightning in here. It's a fun room. Um, but I do want to check and see if the items vendor for that much, or if you should just keep the tokens un unlocked, quote unquote, to get that 50 gold. Um, this is a huge room though, and I feel like it's a lot of wasted space. I like the beginning part. I like how they're worshiping Lei Shen, who isn't really the Thunder God anyways, but still It's kind of neat. We're in the Celestial Enclave, going to fight the Twin Consorts. I got 3 drops here. The Swen-Wu Spire of the Falling Sun, which is a staff. Robes of the Moon Lotus for cloth wearers, and Moon Jade Necklace, which necklaces and trinkets just vendor. I don't know if disenchanting the stuff in here is worth anything. I just know the vendor price is really high, and I don't foresee it being worth it to disenchant anything in here. Just my 2 cents. Got one more item. We're up to 23 items in here. That's amazing. Percentage right now is 19.54%. So what it seems is, it seems like most times I run these raids the first time, I get close to 20%, which 1/5 is great. And I think that's how Blizzard looks at things, in all honesty. For the later raids, I think the older raids, I think it's locked in what you're gonna get. I don't think it's RNG. But for these raids, I think they try to get you about 20%, and then with diminishing returns, the next time you might get 5 more percent, and kind of go from there. I will be running this place again. I'm not sure if I'm going to keep track on all the of all the trash drops next time I come here. So I need to apologize for this part. I died. I wasn't paying attention when the whatever pushes you off the edge. So I didn't get to see the cool fight. I was pretty bummed about that. 3 things that dropped that I saw were leg plates of whipping ionization for plate wearers, gloves of the main vizier for cloth wearers, and leggings of the violent gale for mail wearers. So it brings us to 24 drops. The reason why I'm telling you this is because, that was my Dire Beast summoning, by the way. Pretty sweet. So I'm getting pushed off here, and I don't know what the heck I was thinking. I don't know why I didn't try to use my aspect of a cheetah, or why I didn't try to disengage backwards, or yeah, don't ask me what the heck happened there. So the rest of the fight we just get to sit and watch in darkness. So we're gonna skip ahead here. So thankfully Rom was able to kill Lei Shen. It's nice when you resurrect, it brings you right to the corpse. You get to loot, and then you get to see where the source of all the power comes from. I don't understand why it's under Primordius, but hey, it is what it is. So we're at 24 drops so far, and we're going to head over and skip ahead actually. You go back to the transport, and then you walk your way back. There's a little click right there, and it brings you exactly where you need to go, which is kind of nice. So this is the Sorok creation pool. I don't know if this is for all of Pandaria, but I'm kind of curious. So you make your way down. This is where you fought Primordius. You can tell with all the slimes there. I don't know why they just didn't have it underneath Lei Shen, but it's okay. I got 3 drops here as well. So for the entire raid, I was at 27 drops, which is great. So here's what dropped: the Yellow Dawn Lightning Cloak, Sparkstring Chain Leggings for male, Leg Guards of Awakened Repair, and then Leggings of the Discarded Warning for cloth wearers, and the Leg Plates of Lightning Blood for plate wearers as well. So right now we're at 21.36%, and we open this final door and we get to see Raiden in all his glory. Actually, the final 2 doors, because one just wasn't enough. Rom couldn't see the device, I don't think, because it was inside Lei Shen. And he did need something that dropped off Lei Shen. I don't know what it was. So he was excited. It completed his transmog, and he will equip it. I think it was the shoulders he got from Lei Shen, I want to say. It was something pretty substantial. Or it was the shield, I can't quite remember. This was one of my favorite expansions. I think I had the most fun. So he has 13 items only. And I've already gotten a couple of them. So afterwards, it'll be interesting to see what we sit at. We're at 21.36% walking into this raid. Now, Rom says he's at 100%. I think he's at 100% in terms of the things he wanted, but he might be pretty close because he runs this place all the time. So, final boss, let's get this done. He also reminds me of the guy in Old War with the two hands you have to destroy. Yeah, he needs a helmet and he doesn't really want it, so he's not going to come back here again. Killed him. Let's loot. As soon as he allows us to, of course. We're at 21.59% in one run. Want to say, everybody, thank you for watching. I appreciate all the subscriptions thus far. We're at 108 subscribers in 2 months. That's pretty solid. I'm excited, wanting to see the channel grow more and more. Going to be doing some new intro videos, some new feature videos as well, especially allied races and mountain farms and things like that. So as always, keep watching. Appreciate the support. Appreciate the comments everyone's left. Happy collecting in your endeavors. Now what you get to see is Rom's Transmog. Been pretty excited to show this off the whole run. Raiden moves on to wherever he goes, at Spirit in the Sky or wherever pure thunder, lightning, and goodness goes. But you know, so let's see Rom. We'll zoom in here where you can show off. That is a clean looking transmog. The hair matches, the belt matches. The shield on the back looks great. His weapon looks great. He'll unsheath the weapon in a second here. But it's a clean look. It is well done, sir. Shoulders look awesome. I think he's got the shoulders because it completed the entire look. Um, very excited as always, guys. Thanks for watching. Appreciate it and happy collecting.